So we actually download the computer, the pictures to the computer, right?
Yes.
And her boyfriend is going through them, of course.
Yes.
And they came across this one picture of me.
Yes.
And it was in the truck, of course. Well, in the back of the truck. I wasn't driving.
Right.
I'm in the back of the truck with my girl, and mother took the picture, of course.
Yes.
And I had the exact same look on my face.
Right.
And it was that grin.
Yes.
And that grin, it's more than just a dumb.
Yes.
Right.
You know, it's like a grin of understanding. Right?
Right.
I want to say a grin of understanding.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, there's the goofy grin.
Yes.
You know, and the happiness.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And I was at the same point. Like,
Yes.
like you could have come up to me and said anything, and I would have just been just like Uncle Carl. I'd be, yeah, it's okay.
Right.
Right? Like right now, Biff is telling me we're over time, and I'm like,
Yes.
yeah,
Right.
it's okay. You know, it's all right.
Right.
It's all good.
Good.
Yes. So anyway, that's when I saw it.
Yes.
I saw that glint in my eyes that I had seen only in the eyes of Uncle Carl before in my life, right?
Right.
And I'm telling you, you see that, and you're like,
Yes.
God, I want that.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
This is how I knew this was the meaning of life. Right?
Right.
There's like an innate sense.
Yes.
You just know that's something you have to have, right? and I got it,
Yes.
right? So I guess what I'm trying to convey to you all here is
Yes.
that I very, very short order, soon after that experience,
Yes.
I soon realized that, I couldn't, of course, function in life that loaded. So,
Right.
right. So I called Uncle Carl,
Yes.
and he says, I'm not buying you a Hummer.
Right.
Right? And I was like, no, sir, but perhaps you can help me get a job and earn one.
Right.
He said, I'm not hiring you. I said, no, sir, I'm already working for an oil company.
Yes.
I don't need your stinking money, right?
Right.
And you could talk to him like that because it doesn't matter what you say to him. He's like, yeah, okay. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short,
Yes.
I told him, I'm like, I can't function with all this booze in my system.
Right.
You know, I said, don't get me wrong, it's great. I fucking love it.
Right.
You know. But I said, I've got to have other things.
Yes.
I've got to be able to function. I've got to be able to have an erection.
Right.
And he says, oh, no, you don't need that. I'm like, well, maybe you don't at 62,
Yes.
but I certainly do.
Right.
See, now you're saying something to me that's bringing me down, Carl.
Right.
Anyway, he says to me, he said, and this is where the actual the actual light went on
Yes.
in my head, and I knew that I had found the meaning of life.
Right.
He says to me, Chris,
Yes.
it doesn't matter what you drink.
Right.
He said, I just told you that about the moonshine
Yes.
and the hard liquor just, to keep you ripped. Right? But he says, you can do that with anything. He says, do you have a beverage of any kind that you really love?
Yes.
And, of course, I was like, well, yeah, coffee.
Right.
He says, well, you can do that with coffee.
Yes.
And I was like, really?
Right.
Right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay.
Yes.
He's like, no. He says, seriously, drink your coffee.
Yes.
And he says, with every mouthful, he says, let your taste buds, really experience the coffee.
Yes.
He's like, don't just slam it down like a motherfucker, right?
Right.
He says the key to it is to enjoy every bit about the sensation of actually, tasting that mouthful of coffee.
Yes.
Feeling it go down your throat, right?
Right.
And enjoying that aftertaste.
Yes.
Right? He says that's where all the joy is.
Right.
Right? And you know what? Damned.
Yes.
I'll be damned if he wasn't right, because God, every day since I have been living Shangri-La.
Right.
There you go. Well, except Friday show. Yeah. Uncle Carl doesn't have any advice for when you got piss in your ears.
Right.
So there you go, folks. Thank you for listening. Yeah. All right. Well, look at that. I blew off the show. Anything you wanted to add, Bill?
No.
Are you sure?
No, not at all.
All right. What about you, Gilbert?
Yes.
Got anything you want to add before we go?
I don't want to brag, but I pride myself on watching naked actresses in movies and jerking off.
All right. There you go.
Right.
Yeah. See, and that's really, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Yes.
Right.
Just enjoy the sensations to the fullest, right? Everything.
Right.
Like you often hear these motivational speakers.
Yes.
And they're like, you've got to be in the now.
Yes.
You've got to enjoy the moment.
Yes.
Right.
And of course, everybody, we get caught up in our daily lives,
Yes.
and we're like, yeah, fuck it, fuck the moment. Yeah,
Right.
I got all these fucking problems, fuck the moment, right? Right? But that's where everybody you get fucked up.
Yes.
That's where you lose the meaning. That's you're all worried about the cable bill or
Yes.
some shit, right? Or Bobby's smashed his head in and he's in the hospital now, right?
Right.
You just can't let any of that shit sidetrack
Yes.
you.
Right.
And try and make a conscious effort, folks.
Yes.
When you're feeling yourself kind of sway out of that moment,
Yes.
right? Just I don't know, kind of visualize, what it's like to owe $200 on the cable bill, right?
Right.
Or visualize what it's like to be Bobby and have your head smashed in, like
Right.
It really it's all about the sensations of everything.
Yes.
Right? So.
All right, go a half an hour. Do I get 50,000?
Oh, I didn't know you were still going. Were you still going, Louis?
$88,000 a year they make, approximately average, 80s, let's say. And there's 1,000. That's $88 million a year that we're paying as taxpayers.
Okay, well, take that thought, Louis.
Yes.
And let it go, right?
Right.
And just smile. Just,
Right.
Now that you've kind of achieved that state where you're back in the now.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us what it is you're thinking right now.
I nearly got kicked out of a theater. I can't remember what I saw about 2 weeks ago because I was booing and screaming.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I won't say that.
Yes.
This doesn't come with a disclaimer. Like you are going to have to work at this.
Right.
But one day you maybe
Right.
yourself.
Part of reaching an audience is being yourself.
Oh well. Yeah. There is that.
The idea that by going out into the world, by embracing the world,
Yeah.
you're better off than by shutting the door and trying not to be vulnerable. We're all vulnerable to the vicissitudes, but you've got to keep going. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting back in my space. Shut up.
Good.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Yes, it is. Okay. Gotcha, Biff. Well, unfortunately, he has just clued me in that it is time to say goodbye.
Yes.
Right.
Well, that's okay. Don't worry, because come another 2 days on the Godzilla Wednesday show.
Yes.
We'll have so much more.
Right.
And really, you can look back at this show and say to yourself, wow, that was a waste of an hour and a half,
Right.
Or you can do like the enlightened would and say, wow, that was a 90-minute experience I will never forget.
Right.
I want to thank the one, the only Hawkbox.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You were absolutely stunning tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for listening and support the show. For the love of God.
Yes, money would be nice. Yeah. But it's not the happiness. Yeah.
Right.
Louis Lawless, my man, thank you.
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
Yeah, I love Hummers and money. Yeah.
Right.
Bill Shatner, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very good to have you here.
Yes.
As always.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah. And hey, you learned something.
Right.
I also want to thank the one, the only Gilbert Gottfried.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. It was great having you. Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you for listening and support the show for the love of God.
Nah, but they don't have to, because if they don't, I'm still going to be happy.
Right.
I think I'm safe in assuming here.
Yes.
We've all learned something tonight.
Right.
And, of course, on behalf of myself,
Yes.
the one, the only Chris Crash, Jesus Taylor, Biff, and Jenny in the booth, and, of course, all the WSPC, WSPN folks here, the NASCAR Plaza Towers, thank you. Have a great Monday, Tuesday. We will catch you Wednesday.
Take me to your heart. Show me where to start. Let me play the part of your first love.